Welcome, everyone. Today we pay tribute to the unique, cherished venue in Athens, Alabama Limestone Legends Billiards. This pool room is more than just a place to play. It's a beloved gathering space and integral part of our culture. Let's celebrate the memories and the people who brought it to life. Limestone Legends. Billiards has been a sanctuary for friends and families, fostering camaraderie and connection through friendly competition and bonding each game. Its rich history is evident in the walls adorned with photos and memorabilia from various events and celebrations. It was a space where everyone was welcomed, and everyone, from beginners to experts, found their place. As we walk through the room, we can't help but feel the warmth of its welcoming atmosphere, reminiscent of a home. The walls showcase the moments captured tournament victories, family gatherings, and simple game nights. These frames illustrate the spirit of Limestone Legends, where everyone is welcome and everyone has a chance to bond. Sadly, Limestone Legends Billiards will close its doors on September 27, 2025, leaving many in the community nostalgic and emotionally stirred. Jared, its proud owner, has built a passionate, welcoming space for countless over the years. He has dedicated himself to Athens and the billiard community, fostering friendships and creating memorable moments for all who visit. The joy, passion, and care Jared and his wife Jessica have put into this place are evident everywhere. They've made Limestone Legends a second home for many, leaving a lasting impact and love in every corner of the room. As we reflect on Limestone Legends, let's remember the connections we've made here. The first moments of picking up a cue, sinking a shot, or sharing a laugh. These are the experiences that make a place special. It's not about the game. It's about the people we've met during this journey. Let's honor Jared and Jessica's dedication to this community by keeping the spirit of connection alive even as we prepare to say goodbye. Thank you, and remember, these friendships and memories will continue to thrive.
Hey everybody, my name's Jared and I'm the owner of Limestone Legends Billiards in downtown Athens, Alabama.
Awesome. So, Jared, what are your hours here?
So we're closed on Sundays and Mondays, then we're open Tuesday through Thursday, 5 p.m. until midnight. Fridays we're open 5 p.m. until 1 a.m. and then Saturday we're open 4 p.m. until 1 a.m.
Do you have any weekly specials?
So we do free pool every day from open until 7 p.m. and we also have happy hour specials on certain drinks and beer and stuff.
So, your bar, do you have a full bar or is it a partial bar?
Yeah, so we have a full bar. So we're actually the first billiards hall ever in the history of Athens City, where we're at in North Alabama, to be able to have pool tables and alcohol in the same building. So I have a full liquor bar and also full beer and a couple of craft beers, but mostly domestics.
Okay. And do you offer food?
So we do have bar food. We do popcorn, hot dogs, and pizza. Just super simple, like a late night snack is usually what we do for our food and stuff.
Oh, awesome. What about like candy bars and little small snacks? Do you offer those as well?
Yeah, so we'll have like, right now we have like chips and peanuts and stuff. This winter we're going to get some candy bars and different Reese cups, and we usually do frozen Reese cups. I don't know if that's anywhere else, but it's a southern thing from
it most
here.
definitely is an Alabama thing.
It's definitely an Alabama southern thing. So we freeze our Reese cups and eat them around here. So.
Absolutely, 100%. There's no way we're going to eat a hot Reese's
No,
cup around
can't
here.
do it.
Absolutely not. Let's see. So a little birdie told me that you offer a Sundrop slushie.
Yeah, so if you're not from the Pulaski, Tennessee area to the Coleman, Alabama area, in between that area, you've probably never heard of what a Sundrop is. One of our good buddies, Florian Kohler, Venom, he actually came to visit us a couple years ago and do an exhibition, and he had never had one. So Sundrop is the best way that I can put it, the way Florian put it. He said, "Wow, is this an energy drink?" So if you've ever had a Mountain Dew, it's basically a Mountain Dew with about 10 times the amount of sugar, and it is the best way that I know how to explain it.
So it's kind of like our sweet tea.
Yeah, it's like our soft drink or soda sweet tea is basically what it is here, and we put that in a slushy form. And we'll sell Sundrop slushies, and then you can get them virgin, or you can add whatever liquor you want inside of them.
Nice.
And we usually do Crown Apple's a favorite with that. So.
Okay. So during the week, do you get a lot of traffic, or is mostly the traffic coming in on Friday, Saturday?
Yeah, so usually during the week, we have live music every night of the week. Tuesday we have a live artist. Wednesday we do karaoke. Tonight we're not doing that. We're going through a transition period right now of a different DJ, but we start that back next Wednesday and Friday. Then Thursdays we have live music. Fridays again we have the DJ, and then Saturdays we do some kind of live acoustic act or a DJ. So we're usually pretty busy throughout the entire week with our entertainment. It's not necessarily pool players as much, but I'm trying to bring pool back in a positive aspect in our community.
Right.
Because in Athens it always kind of had the stigma of like the gambling, the smoky bar room that you didn't really want to go in.
Yes.
And us being in the Bible Belt in the South, I wanted to change that to make it more accessible to people that may not normally play the game. So like we have a lot of doctors that come in and nurses and actually a couple of police officers. They're not allowed to go to many places doing what they do in work, but they're allowed to come in here and play. So we have a pretty unique little spot here. So
Cool, very, very nice. Well, I noticed you're right across the street from the town hall, which we're in the square, ladies and gentlemen. A couple of months ago, there was a tornado that came through literally right in front of your building. Could you give us a little insight in how you recovered from that here?
Absolutely. So we were actually in business that day. Everybody downtown was open. And everybody was checking their radars. We're very weather aware in Alabama. We've had a string of tornadoes since, the 90s that I can remember. I'm only 31, so I don't have a full history of the tornadoes in Alabama. But since I've been alive, we've had some really rough tornadoes and stuff. So Alabama is very weather aware. So we were busy that night. We were at full occupancy. We had a live, I think we had a DJ that night. And everybody was just hanging out, having a good time. And then all of a sudden, there were no weather alerts. Tornado alarms never went off. And we look outside our front window, and the only way that I know how to explain it is like if somebody were to light a bonfire full of car tires up. The smoke was that thick, but it was actually the wind, and it had debris inside of it, and it just went in front of our front window, going south to north down the square, right in front of our front window. A tree fell down and hit a car that was parked across the street. Then there was all kinds of damage and stuff. We got very lucky. Being in our building, the way that the tornado traveled, we didn't get any damage besides the roof getting peeled back a little bit in our room here. But we helped with the cleanup that night. We probably didn't get home until about 6 or 7 a.m. Helping with the first responders and initial cleanup that we had until everybody else, the crews and stuff, could get here and take care of everything. So, but a lot of businesses had to shut down for a couple months. We were fortunate enough that we just had to deal with the power issues, and once the power got back on, we were able to open back up for business. So
Great. Now, your wife does something unique as well. You're in the billiards, but wife does something else.
So one of my favorite players that I looked up to, I kind of have something in common with him. Both of our wives are actually artists. So my wife actually owns a pool hall, art studio next door to us, and she does like art classes, kids' birthday parties. We do murals, we do all kinds of stuff with that. So that's actually my daytime job. This is just kind of the side hustle and hobby.
I got you. So who is this infamous pool player that you're friends with?
Yeah, so I've actually had the pleasure of befriending a Hall of Fame player, Mr. Rodney Morris, the Rocket. He's about an hour from us here. We met on the Pool Is Not Dead Facebook page. If you guys are watching this video, you're probably on his Pool Is Not Dead, I would almost bet. I'm not much of a gambling man, winky face, but
we never do that.
Being in Alabama, we're not big gamblers here in the state of Alabama.
No, we don't do that here.
They don't let us. Unfortunately,
no, we're bad people. We're not allowed to do that. We're supposed to be at church.
Yeah. But I actually met Rodney through the Pool Is Not Dead page, and we've become pretty good friends. And his wife and my wife kind of talk because they're artists, so we had a lot in common, and just kind of kicked it off. So, and Rodney's came to our room a couple of times, and kicked everybody's tail and gave us some lessons. And he's a really good dude. So I'm really thankful to have him as somebody I actually looked up to watching play on TV and on YouTube when YouTube first came out.
Right.
Growing up, I watched him play. He was one of the main guys that I watched, along with Efren and Earl and Johnny Archer. You name all the old greats, and even Steve Miserak. Steve was a huge influence on me. So Steve Miserak actually went to college at Athens College, that's in our town. He actually played pool at the old 8-ball pool hall with Kenneth James, who's a local legend. Steve played with him while he was in college before he moved back north and went pro. So I always looked up to Steve too, just growing up here, hearing the stories of Steve playing Kenneth. And Steve would play at the basement at the college. They had a pool table in the basement of the college, and Steve would play out there against college students, and he would just have people lined up around the room watching him play. So I just kind of grew up listening to those stories. And then Rodney and Steve were also big buddies. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but Rodney and Steve were actually pretty good friends.
Right.
Rodney got to tell me that story, and that was another little connection that we had.
Nice. Well, this building is actually extremely old.
Yep.
Could you give us a little history on the building
Absolutely.
itself?
So Athens is actually, if it's not the oldest, it's one of the oldest cities in the state of Alabama, one of the first formed cities. So our building was actually built in 1893. The stamp is still on the pillar out back of when they rebuilt
Nice.
it. So our square was actually burned twice. This side of the square was burnt twice, and the last time they rebuilt it was in 1993. And this building still has the original floors in the walls, which you'll see in the video, that our landlords were able to keep, which gives it this place just a historical look. So, but yeah, and then also another little tidbit of information, this side of the square is also on our haunted walk. So Athens is so old that we have a haunted walk that happens every October, and our city attorney, Shane Black, gives that tour, and he'll walk around with groups of people and tell them the history of Athens and the different ghosts and stuff that have happened. And we actually have some ghosts, some people that had passed away in the fire in these buildings, and we've actually got some stuff on my wife's art studio on camera of some weird stuff happening over there.
So there's paranormal activity in here for our pool community.
Yep.
Interesting.
Absolutely.
You find anything strange going on in here, like pool balls smashing around? Then you know what's going on.
Or if you scratch, it might have been a ghost. It might not have been.
It
you.
could have
So,
been.
yeah.
Fantastic. So Jared, what made you want to open a pool room?
So I've grown up in pool. My dad was a pool player, and I grew up. I have pictures of me in diapers on a Fisher Price pool table since I was 3 years old. I've loved the sport ever since I got into it, and it is a sport. Like, I know that's a controversial thing, but I played soccer in high school. I played rugby in college, and I consider pool as a sport. The time you have to put in, the fitness level you have to have to play at a high level, pool is absolutely a sport. So I got into it at a young age, fell in love with the game immediately, loved the sound of the balls breaking, loved the sound of a ball going through a ball return on a table, the sound whenever you put quarters in an old valley table and hit it, the sounds, and just the game in general is just, there's nothing else like it. It's like chess and golf mixed together, and you have to be a big thinker to play good, and the characters of the game, the environments you go to, no pool room's the same, all the pool players are different. It's just an amazing game, and I just fell in love with it at a young age, and I've just always done it, and I've always wanted to have a pool room. So I got lucky enough to be able to open the room right beside my wife's business in our historical downtown. So
Great information. So, do you offer any tournaments here?
So usually the tournaments and stuff we do are for the Make a Way Foundation, which is they do stuff for special needs sensory rooms in schools. Then also the Child Advocacy Center. They do really good work with children that are in not good situations, whether that be family situations, abuse, different things. They're a good resource in our town for that. So everything that we do here, and all the big tournaments I have is usually for something to do with kids.
So you're giving back to the community.
try.
You're not necessarily running.
Yeah, no, for profit tournaments, I don't
gotcha.
do that. We have like a Tuesday night little small 8-ball tournament that the local guys put on. It's a pretty good hit.
Okay.
Small entry fee, just a good time.
Right.
Good time to socialize and knock some balls around and have fun. But my big thing was trying to give back to the community with the big tournaments that we do have. Because like in Alabama, a lot of people may not know this, but in the state of Alabama, if you have liquor and pool tables in the same building, you can't have kids in there.
Right.
We're one of the only states that does that. Yeah, I'm pretty
That
sure.
I'm aware of.
Yeah,
I think
that I'm aware of.
Louisiana does as
Yeah,
well.
Louisiana
I think.
may, but I can take my son to Panama City, to Tennessee, to Gatlinburg, and he can go in a pool hall with me.
Right.
But in the state of Alabama, you have to have a private club to do that, and it's just not worth the paperwork to do it.
This is true.
It's really not. So if anybody's on here, get some word out and get some state representatives to change some stuff, because
Absolutely.
Alabama,
I can't do it by myself, guys. You gotta help me.
And I've sent emails and called people, and nobody wants to talk to a pool hall owner. So
No, they do not.
We need somebody because our kids here, we have some great youth players in the state of Alabama, but they're having to travel outside to even play in tournaments. And our kids are falling behind the rest of the curve in the United States. And I think that's what our politicians don't really see.
The Alabama kids and the Louisiana children are definitely falling behind in the billiards
Yep.
scene itself, because there's nowhere for them to play.
And it's one of the easiest things to get involved in with youth, because there's
Right.
not many of them. Like if you have a child and like even I have a friend that's in a wheelchair, Mr. Brad, and we actually have a YouTube video together that talked about he wanted to bring awareness to people shooting in wheelchairs.
Right.
Because the APA has the wheelchair finals.
Right.
And not a lot of people know about that either. So that's another great thing about this game is even if you have a disability, you can play
it.
pool. If you had a stroke, heart attack, it doesn't matter. You can play this game. And that's another thing that a lot of other sports you can't really do, but with
This
this
is
game you
true.
can. So
Absolutely, you're right. Well, fantastic. What is the business like during the wintertime? Do you guys pick up a whole lot? I mean, I understand just with any pool room, the summertime, mostly people are doing the family thing and whatnot. So for summertime, it's slow. Does wintertime pick up?
Yeah, so after the first couple of weeks of college football kicks off, and you kind of, because we're in
Right.
Alabama,
We're in Alabama.
we have two pretty small football teams here that are kind of, wink, that go head to head with each other.
Right,
So,
it's a whole
yeah,
rivalry.
yeah, it's a whole thing here. So, you might get in a street fight outside if you wear the wrong colors, in Alabama. So, but yeah, during the wintertime, usually the bar industry in general picks up, but definitely pool. A lot of the people that golf, that do different things, they're pool players during the wintertime. So our business picks up a lot in the colder months. But with that being said, during the summer months, our Athens Main Street program, they're a program that does our entertainment district downtown on the square. And you can actually, in our city, which there might not be a lot of cities like this, I'm not very familiar, but I know there's only a couple in Alabama that do this. But you can get a special cup that the city provides. It's a little blue cup. And you can actually get your drinks and walk around downtown with it. So our city has big events and bands that play on the square. So that brings even more people downtown and it gives more people the experience of pool that may have not seen it before. And that's why I like our room. When you see the videos, I try to keep it really like my image of like a classy older pool hall, and that's the vision that I wanted here. It's like you walked into the old pool halls, there were brick walls,
Right.
straight narrow buildings,
Right.
and that's what I wanted here.
And that's exactly what you've accomplished.
Is the old feel, and that's what I wanted to bring to people, to show them like, hey, this can be done this way, and it not be a taboo subject like most people in Alabama or probably the Southeast think,
Right.
or in the Bible Belt. So
I think it's worse in the state of Alabama as I've traveled. I don't hear it quite as much in Georgia or in Mississippi.
yeah.
But in Alabama and in Louisiana, I hear it a lot. It's like we don't want our kids around that kind of thing.
And it's sad. It's not, the statements you hear are just not true anymore. Now, maybe like 30 or 40 years ago,
Absolutely.
that was 100% accurate. Everything you hear
Absolutely.
happened and was true. A lot of, you can probably get back on video and you can find it on YouTube and prove that it was true. But now it's a completely different game. It's gone professional. It's all about tournaments now. The hustling and the money games have just about tapered off outside of the top level. But it's, and especially the younger kids now, it's all about tournament play, sponsorships. There's even colleges now that give pool scholarships out.
Right.
And that's another thing that these Alabama kids are missing out on. Like, you might not get a sports scholarship or an academic scholarship, but if you're playing pool all through high school, you can get a pool scholarship to go play at some of these places
Right.
now. And that's another avenue to get you in school and get an education.
Absolutely. It's all about getting our kids the proper tools that they need
Yeah, absolutely.
to be successful in life. Do you have children yourself,
Yeah,
Jared?
so I have one son, and then I have two stepchildren. So my son is 8 years old. He loves pool too. Unfortunately, he's not allowed to come in my building, but we have a table at home that he plays with me on. But he loves the game. I try not to. He's so young. I try not to like drill it into him yet. I
Right.
let him enjoy it, like the love that I had for it growing
Right.
up. Then once he gets probably about 11 or 12 or 10, 11 or 12 and gets like serious about it, then I'll start with the actual lessons and maybe even get him a coach or something to get him involved in it the right way. Something that I didn't have. I grew up shooting at the VFW post with guys that were in the military that played all their lives, and I never really had a coach. I just learned as I went. And then after I met Rodney, I learned a lot more about mechanics and stuff that I just didn't know, or that you just don't know until somebody tells
Right,
you.
absolutely.
So,
Same way with me. I started out at 4 years old in an American Legion and a VFW because those were the only places that they would allow children to go into. So we've pretty much led very similar lives,
Yeah,
and that must be a North Alabama thing.
yeah, absolutely.
So you're an avid player, which you had mentioned. What has been one of your dream tournaments to play in?
So I have always wanted to go to Derby City or the U.S. Open. I think whenever you're a pool player and you're growing up young, I'm getting goosebumps even talking about it, but it's like just the atmosphere of it. All the best players are there. Everybody that has the underdog shots, like Cesar Morales that went and shot, like everybody can go there and be a nobody and end up being somebody when it's done. It's just, there's not many things left, really, even sports-wise or anything that you can go and do that outside of maybe the World Series of Poker.
Right.
But there's hardly anything that you can just walk into as an amateur that's practiced years in your room and end up playing with the top players in the world and throwing your hat in there. And it's just, it's just just amazing, and I really want to get to those two events. Hopefully by the time I'm 35. So I'm 31 now, so I've got a couple more
4 years.
Yeah, I got 4 more years to set my goal. I got a lot of practice time in, but I'm going to try to get there by the next 3 or 4 years. Go to one of those events. So.
Awesome. So since you are in North Alabama, have you played in one of Joey Henderson's roadshow?
Yep, so I actually went down to ICB and got my first roadshow experience. So that tournament is tough. Anybody professional, I don't think a professional player's won that tournament yet.
I think Chip Compton did.
Chip may have, okay. Because I know Federer shot in it a couple times.
Yeah, I
maybe,
don't think it went anywhere. I think Chip Compton has won it once, and Hennessy won it.
Yeah, Hennessy won
a couple of times,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't know.
I don't think anybody's won that tournament, and it's a huge payout tournament. You're talking $200,000 to $300,000
every
per winner,
time,
and
almost.
It's a handicap, and it's every time you're there. And it's a great tournament, but I definitely learned a lot shooting in that. I've never been in a tournament that size with that many players, and even outside the professional tournaments, I think they have more players than some of the professional tournaments have number-wise.
Right.
I think the one I shot in was close to 250, 300 players.
Oh, he's brought in 400 before, so it depends on the year.
Yes.
It really does, and
Yes.
what time of the month it is. There's a lot of things that go. There's a lot of wheels turning.
Yes, that's a very well put on tournament. Everything went smooth. My experience with it, everything went smooth, and I had a great time there. So it's something I definitely want to go back to those. But I'm trying to get more on the 9-foot tournaments. Coming up.
I completely understand that. So in the future, here soon, before the end of the year, do you plan on making any changes here? Like maybe introducing new things, trying to bring in a different crowd?
I'm a pool player, but I'm also an entrepreneur and a business-minded person.
Mm-hmm.
We always listen to our customers. We always listen to our community, and we always try to improve on what we can. When this room first opened, I didn't have pool table lights. They were all valleys with blue cloth on them. Our seating arrangement was different. Our bar was different. We didn't have liquor, so we listened to our community. And as we've gone, we keep adding and adding and adding. Hopefully, by the end of the year, I'm looking at getting either Diamonds or the New Brunswicks if they're available. Trying to get all new 7-foot tables in here to get off the valleys, get something a little better equipment for people to play on.
Well, you might have a good in with Rodney Morris because he was in business in a pool room not long ago, and they were all Brunswicks, the most beautiful tables I've ever seen.
So Rodney's talked about the Brunswick guys a little bit with some high praises, so he's still in contact with those guys. So I might be able to make a phone call or send a text message and get some.
So that will be in the distant future, I'm assuming.
That'll be a little bit later down the road.
I completely understand that as well.
Yeah.
So with you guys being right in front of the square, does that deter certain clientele here?
I don't believe so. The way that we set our business up, like I mentioned earlier, I wanted to have a business that everybody could be included in, something that's clean, that you don't have to worry about, getting in a fight, a bar fight, something happening, like the typical in the South or in Alabama, the pool hall stigma that's around that.
Right.
We wanted to flip the script on that, and my wife actually helped me with the decorations and some of the layout and stuff to make it more of like a boutique,
inviting,
pool hall instead of like the smoky bar room. So so we kind of went that route.
The aesthetic of your room is beautiful. You guys have done a terrific job.
We appreciate that. We really do. But yeah, it's brought in the right clients, I guess is the best way to say it. It's brought in the right people. We don't deal with a lot of the riffraff that most pool rooms deal with in certain bigger cities, and like you have all the gambling people. I'm not gonna say gamblers are bad; they're not all bad, but everybody knows the people that want to gamble but don't need to or don't have the money to, and then it ends up being a big mess.
Right. Yeah, we completely understand that.
Yeah, we don't have that. We don't have that crowd in here, so it keeps a little better clientele in our pool hall than what most rooms probably experience in bigger cities. So.
Well, in the state of Alabama, the law is no gambling, zero.
You can't gamble on
zero
anything
tolerance.
in the state of Alabama. You can't even play a game of checkers, tic-tac-toe.
Nothing. If money changes
golf,
hands.
It's illegal in the state of Alabama.
So what is the implications, say, for instance, you have two gentlemen in here playing a game and, say, a police officer walks through the door and they threw money on the table. What could happen to your business?
So I could lose my liquor license, my business license. I could possibly never open another business in town again, which sounds a little drastic, but that's the way it is in Alabama.
And that's the same way with the children being in here.
Yeah, same way with the children. If a child walks in here, legally by the law, DHR, which is the children's organization, can take their kids away from them because it's child neglect, because you have a child in a liquor bar, is the way it's seen. Like, I have the same liquor license as a strip club in Alabama has. I hold the exact same lounge liquor license that a strip club has, so I have to abide by all the same laws. And if you look at this place, it's nowhere near anything like that. So,
Absolutely
now,
not.
do I think kids need to be in here at like midnight or later? Absolutely
not.
But they should at least change it to where, at least before maybe sunset or before the sun goes down, that kids can come play this game, because it's a tragedy in Alabama. It really is.
Well, I appreciate your time, and if there's anything I can do for you guys in the future, please let me know. Guys, this man has done an amazing job here in Athens, Alabama. You don't understand what it's like to be in this little tiny community with no pool rooms. So you've done good justice for the citizens of Athens.
I appreciate it so much.
Well, we appreciate it, and I hope you have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you soon, Jared.
Sounds good. We'll see you soon too.